Welcome to New Vegas. We start our journey in the lovely town of Good Springs, waking up in a stranger's bed after taking a casual bullet directly to the brain. Naturally, I needed a name that reflected my impending doom and overall lack of luck. Meet Poor Soul. Now for the appearance. I checked out the very first preset the game offered me but was not happy with it. So after a bit of tweaking and sliding bars I probably shouldn't have touched, we ended up with this genetic lottery winner. Chuck Mitchell asked me how do I feel about the statement. I'm slow to embrace new ideas. Without hesitation, I said I strongly agree. I dumped my skill points into anything except speech because who needs to talk their way out of problems. Finally, I stepped out into the blinding Mojave wasteland. I opened my Pip-Boy and turned on the radio and forgot it on for the rest of the playthrough. Hearing Big Iron makes getting shot at and dying somewhat enjoyable. Now to find a lady named Sunny Smiles and beg her to teach me to survive. Sunny told me to shoot some bottles, and after missing half of them, we headed to the desert to kill some geckos. Next step was to find some ingredients to craft some healing powder. After crafting the powder, I headed back into town to meet some guy called Ringo who was hiding because a gang called Powder Gangers wants him dead. Being the hero I am, I decided to help him gather a militia to take them out. This is where my lack of speech came back to bite me. I went around town trying to inspire locals, but my lack of reason resulted in everyone but Sunny telling me to kick rocks. We fought off the Powder Gangers, Ringo paid me for my troubles, and Victor, the creepy cowboy robot, rolled up to say hi. With Good Springs safe, it was time to head south to a town called Prim. I arrived outside Prim and ran into an NCR lieutenant who told me the town was overrun by escaped convicts and to watch my step. I saw a bridge leading into town and thought to just cross there. I tried to be smart and avoid the mines, but my leg got turned into confetti anyways. After being humbled by the mine, I tried to get to the doors of the Vicky and Vance casino. Keyword there is tried. The escaped convicts guarding the place handed me my own ass 3 separate times before I could even touch the door handle. On attempt number 4, I finally made it inside the casino, only to get pieced up there too. I tried over and over again, but it seemed that everyone hated Poor Soul. And then it hit. I opened my inventory and saw that I was wearing Powder Ganger armor. After a necessary change of clothes, I talked to Johnson Nash, found the deputy was captured and went to save him. I popped the stealth boy and managed to clear out the convicts without dying. Naturally, before untying the deputy and freeing him, I had to prioritize what really matters, looting everything. After freeing the deputy and talking to him inside the casino, he takes credit for fighting his way out. I ignore him. He tells me Prim needs a new sheriff. Heading back to the cursed bridge, I thought this time I'm going to disable the mine. Lieutenant Hayes told me he can't protect Prim without reinforcements, so I started the long trek to the Mojave outpost. On the way, I got ambushed by feral ghouls and died another 3 times. At this point, my pride was entirely gone, so I decided to just walk around them. My tactical detour led me straight into a jackal gang. Thankfully, I managed to kill them. I finally arrived at the Mojave outpost and talked to Major Knight, but surprise surprise, my Riz was still non-existent, so he refused to give me reinforcements. Frustrated, I decided to go to the NCR correctional facility myself, only to immediately get blown up by a mine and decide to go to Nipton instead. I fast traveled to a nearby gas station, got jump scared again, this time by a rad scorpion. In Nipton, I was greeted by this lottery winner, good for him I guess. Then I walked into the center of town and met the Legion, who had just casually crucified half of the population. We had a brief chat, and then I went to loot the town hall. Inside, yet another mine got me. The trauma was worth it because I found a submachine gun in the basement that would later save me. I got jump scared again, this time by dogs. I headed upstairs, got blown up by a mine again. On my second try, I bypassed it, killed some more dogs, and made it to the mayor's office. I tinkered with his terminal and found out he was doing some shady backroom deals. I found some lottery tickets which explained what the screaming guy earlier was talking about. I tried to open a locked door in the room, but my lockpicking skill said no. I took the main road out of Nipton, encountered a bunch of highway bandits. Died a couple more times because that's just the tradition now. But eventually mowed them down and made it to Novak. I met Victor again and said hi. I went into the reception office only to find out nobody was there, so I pulled out the classic trick I learned from Skyrim. Genie magically manifested in front of me and told me to talk to the daytime sniper for info. I headed to the dino, but the nighttime sniper was on duty. When the daytime sniper Manny finally showed up, he told me he'd give me some info if I cleared out some ghouls at the nearby Repcon facility. On the way there, I pulled a train of ghouls and led them towards the town. When we got there, this thing appeared out of thin air. The green ghoul ended up killing one of the townsfolk. Anyway, back at the Repcon facility, a guy over the intercom told me to come up to the metal stairs. I cleared the building, went up and met Chris, and told me to talk to Jason Bright, some glowing ghoul leading a cult that wants to fly rockets into the far beyond. But first, he needed me to clear out the demons in the basement. Ah! I remember I had that submachine gun from Nipton and took them down. I found their boss, Daveson. He ended up doing a nice pirouette midair. I told Jason the basement was clear and he took his gold to the launch pad. I had to find some rocket components, one of which cost me a painful 500 caps. I brought the parts back to Chris, went up to the launch room and tried to mess with the navigation console, but found out poor Soul is too stupid to understand it. So I just hit the launch button and watched the rockets fly. If you want to see poor Soul continue his journey, make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.